drops no one knows. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Happy Monday. It sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? Happy Monday, whatever. Would you believe I have no idea what we're doing today? I do, but I don't. I had a plan, and my plan was to do some research and organizing, and wouldn't you know it, between work and being Ian's gopher for everything, just got home 10 minutes ago. But I do have stuff. I do have stuff, and we're going to look at it together. It's very interesting. Um, Kiara Agnew, Kiara, I hope I say your name right. I don't want to be disrespectful, but this is crazy, and I think it's the past couple of days we've been going through the Canadian justice system and the problems with it. And when I saw this documentary, I was like, I wonder how the Canadian system not measures up to, but how it's going to impact this situation that we're going to talk about. Addie, hi, thank you so much for becoming a member. I think you were a member before, you probably just renewed, but thank you for that. I appreciate it. Hey, Roots, Gren, as always, Little Black Bear, hello. Haven't seen you before. Welcome. Detective Tam, always a pleasure. Oh, you never know if you're in the right chat. You're always in the right chat when you're in my chat. We're always happy to see you. And Melissa, it's great to see you. Hey, Sherry Lynn, hi. Hmm. So I don't know. I don't expect like us to have like a lot of viewers, but disclaimer for anybody that comes in here that could know or be related to the people involved. We mean no disrespect here. We are literally just looking into this case for the first time on this channel due to the W5 documentary, and we're going to look at it unbiased and fairly as we can. So, having said that, I don't know if W5 um, copyright strikes, which, I don't really care about the algorithm and monetization and stuff like that, but I would hate for them to like shut the live stream down because they can do that. So, I'm not going to play the documentary. I think there's like a 3-minute clip of one that we'll play, but I'm going to link the documentary in the chat so everybody can go and watch it if you haven't watched it yet. It's a crazy case. And really kind of hit me because I was at this resort last year and half of the resort was shut down. It was being renovated. Come to find it makes perfect sense because in the W5 special it says that, the resort has been since the crime took place has been renovated. They were doing half while we were there, and then the other side where we were staying last year is being done now. So I have videos from my vacation just to kind of show you. I don't know if they're, I mean, it's interesting to see anyways. But crazy, crazy, crazy. Um, Taco salsa spicy and hot cheese snacking. Mexican. Hey, Sailor. Good to see you. Wolfie, thank you for joining us here. And who else? I said I don't expect this to be a very busy live stream, but we're going to do it. We'll talk about Jack and Lily a little bit later. From Gander, Newfoundland. I've actually heard of Gander. I think I might have friends of X family from Gander, I believe. Cindy, hey Betty Knight, and Blue Jay, good to see you. Hey Tom. Hey, who else? Anybody? Oh, there's my favorite name ever, just a clap and seal. Just me, good to see you. Hi Lucy and Kimber, Joyous. I love to have you here. Thank you for joining us, Joyce. And who else? Sky Painter, always a pleasure. Is the buffering only on my end? I don't know. I've heard that you or the East Coast is getting absolutely slammed with snow. My internet seems to be fine. As you can tell, I moved my camera again. When I watched back, I think I was a little bit too far away and pointed down. It's very odd. Well, thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that. I was playing with my light because I have a light, right? And I know like Sunny has this I don't know what kind of camera she has, but she has filters. So I was playing with everything and I don't know how everything looks for you guys, but this is like the most like I can play with it a little bit after to show you what I'm talking about, but this is the least harsh light I can find without like, totally changing my appearance. I don't use a filter, but the lighting makes a huge difference. So, uh, like hopefully it's not too bright or whatever. This is the most calm light that doesn't make me look like a vampire. So, and I've been playing around with it for a few days, so hopefully it's fine. Hi, Fawn. Lurking, waving, hey, good to see you. American Justice with how many are you at now, AJ? Go over and sub to American Justice, guys. And yeah, you guys are getting really pummeled. Again, you changed your name? Were you Animal Farm not too long ago? I thought you were Animal Farm. If you're not, that's good to know too. Um, so W5, I know the Fifth Estate, they do copyright strikes, but I'm not sure if W5 does, so I don't want to play their whole episode. Even if you start and stop, sometimes they will um they'll shut you down. They'll just come and like strike your live stream and turn you off. So I don't want to do that, but you know, I want to give credit while credit's due, but I also want to get the facts straight. And like I said, I just didn't have time to study it. Snow has stopped for now. That's good to know. Spring is going to be sprung any day now. Wishful thinking, but I love it. Hey, Sarah. Good to see you. Sassy Cat. Haven't seen you for a while. Thanks for joining today. Just the facts, ma'am. I am doing just fine. Thank you. Don't forget to, paw the like button. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you like it. If you don't do it. Um, living in a snow globe outside. I bet you it's pretty though. If you don't have to go anywhere, you can appreciate it, but I feel your pain. I really do. Mm, truth for me? New name or just new to us? Thank you for joining in any case. Hey, Bonnie Garrett. Um, Willie Wharton is supposed to make his famous predictions for, yes, every year. You betcha. Mary Dalmatian, good to see you. Hey, Kelly. Who else? Oh, look. Crime Science Stories. Thank you for being here. 429. We can get her there, you guys. She has 71 left. Let's do it. Let's get her up there. Who else? Subidoo. Thanks for joining. Okay. Oh, Wait a sec. I thought I was at the end, but I'm not. And Dr. Phil does that. Yeah, Fifth Estate does too. It's unfortunate, but I get it because some people like when I first started, I had the bad habit of playing stuff and just let it play the whole time. But I mean, I didn't mean to steal other people's content. I thought that's what we do. But I get it. I do. Bobby Joe, thank you for being here. Yes, you were animal keeper. Thank heavens, because you know, fake profiles, I think, are the bane of my existence. But I'm not saying that you're a fake profile, but you know, foot and a half of snow, gross. Nancy, thanks for coming. AI says about W5 copyright. Yes, content from CTV investigative program W5 is copyrighted and protected on YouTube as a production of Bell Media. W5 holds the rights to its broadcast material. Yeah, so we'll give the 3-minute thing a shot. I don't know, you guys, but I want everybody to see it. Mm, oh, really? Well, I still think that you have to like I don't know if you're even allowed to play it. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm not doing the whole thing, but I can't keep up with the name changers. Yeah, me either. And that's why I'm glad, like you guys, you'll come out and you'll let me know if you've changed your name. It's makes it so much easier. Ernestine, thank you for being here. Um, Katie and girl, hey. Oh, I am at the end. Wonderful. Okay. So, do you want to start with, let's just start with a couple of my own videos from my vacation last year. It's not great stuff. Okay, it's not great stuff. But it is interesting because that's what caught my attention. Like I said, when I was watching it the other night, I was like, "Wait a minute. What resort did they say?" And then I was watching the videos that they had. I was like, "Oh, I was there." The year the year after the crime happened, but I was like, I was there. I was there, guys. So, I'm going to pull up my TikTok. This is not a true crime story TikTok. This is my personal TikTok. You can follow me if you want. I don't care. Whatever. There's just 3 really short ones. We're going to watch them and then we'll get on with the story.
Let's go to the beach under the sun. Feel the sand and have some fun. Waves are calling, let's run to the ocean, everyone. I wanna see you right now, see your love under the bright lights from above. Let's go to the beach under the sun. Feel the sand and have some fun. It's a thing, when it's something else, and they got away. Some can fix you up, some can make you drown. You want some?
Okay, sorry that you said there was no sound. I can't hear the sound on my side, so sorry. Hello. Um, so I wasn't sure if you guys could hear it on your side, but yes, same resort. But I didn't know. I didn't know that there had been a crime, a serious crime taken place in that same resort the year before involving Canadians. I had no idea. So, yes, isn't he sweet? I gave him a banana. Do you want to watch it real quick? You guys don't have sound anyways. You want to watch it real quick? He loves his bananas. He's adorable. Okay. Yes, that's Harley. Okay. So let's hit chat real quick. Um, Same resort. Yes. That's why we're talking today because I was like, whoa. And we were going to, I really wanted to go back to the same resort because it was just so great. And now I don't know. The fella, Ryan Friesen, he blames the cartel for this crime. And the whole thing about that is my paranoia going there in the first place wasn't about the cartel per se. It was about violent crime in Mexico, probably related to organized crime. And I was told as long as you stay on your resort, you're perfectly safe. That even though you're in cartel territory, they rely on tourism so that the hotels and such can make their money so that they can pay the cartel tax or whatever. So as long as you stay on the resort, you're safe. You're basically protected. But we went to Playa del Carmen without a tour bus or whatever. We went on our own. We took a cab and we went. I lost my phone that day. Thankfully, I lost it at the resort before we even left. So when I got back, I got it. But Ian had his phone. His phone died while we were there, and we couldn't figure out um, where to catch the tour bus. So with all these, you know, the police, they're everywhere there, but they all have automatic weapons, and I think they're called federales. They drive around in pickup trucks, and there's like a group of men in the back in the box of the pickup trucks, and they all have their weapons and stuff. That's very disconcerting to me. Like it's very because I don't like guns. They make me very uncomfortable. So it was very stressful for me when we were outside of the resort. So hearing that this man, Ryan Friesen, says that it was a cartel thing that came into the resort to hurt his girlfriend blew my mind. And even if there's just the smallest chance that that could have happened, I never want to go back there again. However, I'm probably still going to go. I'm just saying, very, very scary. So I want to stop sharing this so that I can pull up the other. I got one more. And like I said, I'm sorry about the sound, you guys. My sound when I'm on StreamYard, it doesn't work. My sound on this side. So I can't tell that you can't hear it. But here is just the last video that I'll show uh, from my vacation, and this is driving to our suite, just so you can get like a good idea of what it's like to walk through. And their apartment would have been um, on this side, like where we're driving, their apartment would have been up top overlooking the pools. So it's just a very, I think, unique, not unique, but amazing that I have this same vacation that this poor girl had. And yeah. And there are these little cars, they drive you everywhere. Like you leave your room and go out to the strip, and these little golf carts are there. They take all the tourists wherever you want to go on the resort. So the resort is absolutely massive, huge resort. Where we were lucky. We were like a 10-minute walk from the ocean, and then a 10-minute walk the other way to the closest little buffet thing. But everything that they showed in that documentary, I had seen and I had been there, and it shocked me. So I really wanted to go through this stuff. So now let's get to the story. So Kiara Agnew and her boyfriend, what's his face? Ryan Friesen. They had been, I don't know how long they were together for. Drat. Oh, but he was abusive. Come to find out that he was abusive, but only when he drank, right? And she documented her abuse, black eyes, bruises, whatnot. Um, and her family, some of her family knew, but she wouldn't leave. And it was like a trauma bond because he had lost his brother, I think it was in 2010, and she had lost her brother in 2020. So they trauma bonded over that, and her sister thinks that she didn't want to leave him because of that trauma bond. But he abused her when he was drinking, which is why it baffles me why she would agree to go to an all-inclusive resort, because all the alcohol you can drink, anything you want, you don't pay for. You've already paid for it with your trip. But I think the day after they arrived, they got back to their room. They got into an argument. He says he passed out and he woke up and Kara was gone. And he left, like he walked out of the room to see if he could find her, and he heard her screaming. And he followed the sound of her screams and came upon a laundry room, and he went in there. His story is there was a group of men in there, and Kiara said that she had been raped, but she was bloodied black and blue, and he doesn't remember anything else. And the cleaning people woke him up. They called an ambulance, whatever, whatnot. That's his story. He went to trial in Mexico. He was arrested. He went to trial, and something that normally takes, from my understanding, like 5 to 8 years to get all said and done through the Mexican justice system. Because remember, in Mexico, you are guilty until proven innocent there. W5 also, they said that they had changed their criminal justice system. So now they're baby stepping to innocent until proven guilty, but they're guilty until proven innocent. So he goes to trial, 18 months, all said and done. The judge only trial found that he was not guilty because there was too much damage to her body to have been caused by one sole person. And that was based partially on the fact that there was foreign male DNA under her fingernails, as well as Ryan's, but foreign DNA under her fingernails. But I would argue when you're in an all-inclusive, you're sharing a buffet with people, you're sharing swimming space with people. Um, you know what I'm saying? So it's not, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm gonna hit chat here, and then I'm gonna play this. It's part two. It's 3 minutes and 5 seconds long. I hope I don't get copyright striked. If I do, listen, if we're gonna play this, and if they shut me down, I'll start a new stream and lesson learned. Okay, so if everything goes black, just give me 5, and I'll be back on. Warm climates are great, but they have bigger spiders, bigger snakes, and more criminals. Those guys aren't going to go where it's cold. I didn't. I saw a plethora of lizards, but I didn't see any like weird. Lots of cats on the resort. Wild cats on the resort. Masked with AK rifle. Very intimidating, especially for somebody who's paranoid like I am, and you see all these federales with these automatic weapons, and they're wearing masks and stuff. I was so paranoid. Like I like head down, just beeline to the ferry where we were going. In the late 80s, went to Vallarta and hung out with Peter. He was Diane Cannon's hairstylist. The couple he was with found out the dude was a drug dealer, but the best vacation going places I wouldn't. Probably going to go to Cuba this year, to be honest with you. It's a shame. It happened the first night on our vacation. It was the first night or the second, first night, probably, yeah. My sister and her husband went to Panama to a resort and they rented a taxi with another couple to go to Panama City. The taxi driver could not speak English, so he called his daughter and they told her, um, sorry, our taxi driver also could not speak English, but he had the Google Translate app. It's phenomenal. It was great. He drove them all day and they paid him $50. Yeah, yeah. You pay them well and they treat you well. There's no way he heard her screams when no one else did. It was down 2 flights of stairs from their room. And the W5 lady, she showed a map of the resort, and I'm well aware, but their room was like up here, and the laundry room wasn't just down the stairs. It was in another building from the way it looked. And you guys will have to go and watch the whole special, but it didn't make sense. Not charged. We'll get to it. It's breaking news 2 days ago. So in Mexico, I'll just tell you, in Mexico, the magistrate has the authority to overturn a judge's finding, and the original judge found him not guilty. The magistrate decided that there was more than enough evidence to show his guilt beyond reasonable doubt. She overturned it like just a couple of days ago. He is now guilty. And that's some of what we're going to look at, the extradition laws between Canada and Mexico. And because many times Charles Ng comes to mind, the Canadian government will stand in the way of extraditing a citizen to another country if the punishment, if Canada doesn't agree with the other country's punishment, because Charles Ng was going to be put on the death row. So Canada fought extradition. Well, I'll have to watch that one. If they shut me down, Wolfie, it'll be for like just because I'm playing this. If you can't tell, I'm a little nervous, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, and we're gonna watch it, and we'll suffer the consequences together. I'm sure it'll be fine. This is part 2 of this whole documentary. I am going to link the whole documentary in the chat so you guys can go and watch it. Full credit goes to W5. So, okay, let me. I was in a taxi in Mexico and the driver had a newspaper on the front seat. And let me tell you, they don't censor shit in their papers, right? It's crazy. Has anybody gone into a pharmacy in Mexico? Blew my mind. You can buy Percocet, you can buy Viagra, you can buy Ozempic, all the stuff that you can't get in Canada without a prescription. You just buy it off the shelf there. Blew my mind. Okay, let's watch this.
Ryan Friesen is back living in Dawson Creek, British Columbia. He's refused repeated requests for an interview, but in a statement writes, "My desire for justice is unwavering, and I hope that those truly responsible are identified and held fully accountable for their actions." March 3rd, 2023, Kiara Agnew was beaten to death on a five-star resort in Playa del Carmen. Friesen was found asleep beside her body in a resort laundry room. At his judge-only trial in 2024, he was found not guilty, based on the fact Friesen's DNA was not found under Kiara's fingernails, while unknown DNA was present, and the belief that her injuries were too severe to have been inflicted by one person. In his statement, Friesen writes, "Legal proceedings against me have unfortunately impeded the investigation to find the actual perpetrators." In Dawson Creek last summer, more than 2 years after Kiara was killed, Friesen met with some of her family members, including her stepfather, Ricky.
And everybody was harassing him, and he wanted to basically sway us in his direction that he was innocent and he wants his life back.
Ricky says Ryan claimed he and Kiara had been drinking at the resort bar, went back to their room, got into an argument, and that he fell asleep.
And he woke up a couple of hours later and said that Kiara was missing. Then he said that he left the hotel room and he heard her screaming.
He says Ryan claimed to have followed the sounds of her scream to a laundry room, that he beat on the door, which was locked.
What do you mean, Sarah? Like I can pause it and talk? I cannot stand when creators do that. But is that why they do that? That makes sense. So just like I said, guys, listen to what they're and this is the same resort. I don't know how to interrupt things. So I'm just gonna play it.
He said that somebody opened the door, and he said that she was sitting there on the floor and holding her private, saying that she was raped. And he said that there was 3 to 4 people in the room.
And what was his explanation for being found asleep next to her dead body?
He couldn't explain to me how he got from the door to laying on the floor next to her, and he wouldn't answer me that question. I asked 3 times.
Some of Kiara's diary entries and photographs document previous abuse, allegedly at the hands of Friesen.
Whoever committed this horrible act on this poor 23-year-old woman had a lot of rage.
Dave Perry, chairman of Investigative Solutions Network, is a former Toronto homicide investigator, an expert on violent crime and murder.
I noticed on all of his fingernails, they were just soaked up in the ridges here.
He doesn't have access to all the evidence in the case, but analyzed Kiara's autopsy and Ryan's police processing photos.
All of her injuries are, I was supportive of somebody that was beaten horribly, and his injuries would match that kind of an attack.
In his statement, Ryan Friesen says, "My desire for justice is not about me. It is and always has been about Kiara." The not guilty verdict is currently being reviewed by a magistrate in Mexico and could be overturned, upheld, or modified. Avery Haynes, CTV News.
What? Ray Farley is literally harassing me right now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with the Dawson Creek man.
Which one is this? Oh, I was gonna play this one next anyways. I think this is, yeah. Um, Good chat. Yeah, that's why I did not play a lot. When I play stuff, you have to pause and talk. That is what Sunny told me. Yeah. It's hard to Right. When you can go and watch it yourself without interruptions, it's just to me it's annoying as book, so I try not to do it. I don't think that see Dawson Creek news channels is gonna copyright strike me. But again, they're like 3-minute stories, but I think they capture the main parts. It's better than me stumbling through the story that I don't really know that well. I know the basics. Good to see that you are covering other things other than the regurgitation of all the toxicity of the Lily and Jack case, which doesn't help find these children. You are very good at what. Thank you. Um, it's important, though, Wendy, in my opinion, to keep talking about Jack and Lily. And unfortunately, because there's nothing new, regurgitation is literally all we can do, but we can do it in a way that's um, still useful in some ways. Did you guys hear that? Harley's tooting. Oh boy. Um, he's he's bugging me already. It's not good. Mm. Yeah, so we're just gonna do what we're gonna do. And if we get copyrights, we got through the scary one. They didn't. I'm not shut down, so we should be good. If he was on meth, then it would look like more than one person. Listen, men and some women, they can do a lot of damage to somebody that's not fighting back if they have enough time to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, I have heard cases where people thought a victim was hit by a vehicle, and it was literally an assault by one person who had time and rage enough to do what they did. So the judge, I think, was a little bit, hmm, maybe they have tunnel vision when it comes to um, the cartel. You know what I mean? Maybe everything is gets blamed on the cartel. Possibly. The amount of time you can play without pausing is very important. Okay, do you know how long I can do that? Not that it matters anymore. I went to Playa del Carmen on a resort in a gated community. It was a massive resort like this one. We were warned not to go into the town of Playa del Carmen. We did go into the town of Playa twice. The first day we went without an escort, without a group. Um, My brother was and his wife were severely sunburnt, so they didn't want to go, and they were the ones that had been to Mexico before. So we were literally just threw caution to the wind and went. It was the dumbest thing ever, but we did. Um, Very intimidating. But then the next day we went and we caught a ferry. It was much different the second day, but I didn't feel unsafe. I felt very harassed, but in a very tourist way. We went to Senior Frogs. It was like breakfast time, and people were absolutely hammered. Crazy. Uh, the not guilty verdict that was delivered to Ryan Friesen in September of 2024 has been overturned, and he is now uh, convicted of femicide, which is, by the way, um, one of the worst crimes you can be convicted of in Mexico. And that's femicide is a crime against a woman because she's a woman. So, like, I don't know how it maybe, but I don't know that that was the motive. It's his anger issues and abuse issues. Why she looks all of 16 years old. 16 years old, yeah. Harley can do. He can. See him sitting there at the door. It's because I gave him a milk bone before I started, and now he's tooting. How old was she? Um, I don't want to say 23 because that's the year that it happened. Let's listen to this next one. Was it 23? Okay. Thanks, Ron. Had to light an incense. We are snowed in. Gassy dogs. I'm not snowed in. Luckily, Harley doesn't stink. He does sometimes. That's a lie. The cartel, no, now knows he's blamed them, so he probably won't last long in jail, right? And that could very well, good, good thought, Kelly. That could have, that could be argued by his defense lawyer, his Canadian defense lawyer. He could be put in danger. I wonder if there was any universe where he would be made to serve a sentence in Canada. I wonder if that would happen. We went to Playa del Carmen a few times. First shop we went to, Buddy asked if we wanted green or white. I just wanted a hat. We went to Senior Frogs too, yeah. That whole that whole waterfront area is just insane. I remember we were walking and it was so hot. Everything is that uh, I don't even think it's concrete, but everything is so hot. The pavement, the air. And then we walked by this one door and it was just like air conditioning blowing at us. And I looked in and there was like a Sephora and Bath and Body Works. And I was like, oh, this looks like my place. So I went in there and it's all these shops. And I got interested in just looking at different perfumes and stuff. The prices, same as Canada, expensive. You can't just throw that out there. What? What? The overturned verdict? Absolutely. Absolutely does. Half of her family believes Ryan is innocent, and the other well, one side, parents are divorced, so one side believes in Ryan's innocence, the other side believes he is guilty. So, and they're very divided, very, very, very divided. In fact, from what I understood, they have two separate Facebook pages that are completely conflicting. What can't I throw out there? What did I do? Ding, ding, ding. Look at y'all being sleuthy. Wow. Hey, Sea Legal. Just take Harley out. We will wait for you to come back. I will. He's fine. See, he's laying down. He's okay. He just came in. He did. He came in. I gave him a milk bone. I started. He's fine. Just getting in here. Kiara Agnew. 2 days ago, her boyfriend's not guilty verdict was overturned by a magistrate in Mexico, and he is now considered guilty of femicide. All right. Good time to play more video. She really didn't. She had her bucket list written, and Mexico was the first on her bucket list. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And the documentary does talk to a member of one of the cartel families, and they are well aware of it. So I wouldn't want to be him going to a Mexican prison. It just seems silly to me. Let's watch this video. I will get Harley outside and we will watch this video. This one is Dawson Creek News.
Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with a Dawson Creek man found not guilty in connection to the death of his girlfriend in Mexico. Ryan Friesen is making his first public statements to W5 since Kiara Agnew was found murdered. Here's part 2 of Avery Haynes' look into who killed Kiara.
Ryan Friesen is back living in Dawson Creek, British Columbia. He's refused repeated requests for an interview, but in a statement writes, "My desire for justice is unwavering, and I hope that those truly responsible are identified and held fully accountable for their actions." March 3, 2023, Kiara Agnew was beaten to death on a 5-star resort in Playa del Carmen. Friesen was found asleep beside her body in a resort laundry room. At his judge-only trial in 2024, he was found not guilty, based on the fact Friesen's DNA was not found under Kiara's fingernails, while unknown DNA was present, and the belief that her injuries were too severe to have been inflicted by one person. In his statement, Friesen writes, "Legal proceedings against me have unfortunately impeded the investigation to find the actual perpetrators." In Dawson Creek last summer, more than 2 years after Kiara was killed, Friesen met with some of her family members, including her stepfather, Ricky.
And everybody was harassing him, and he wanted to basically sway us in his direction that he was innocent and he wants his life back.
Ricky says Ryan claimed he and Kiara had been drinking at the resort bar, went back to their room, got into an argument, and that he fell asleep.
And he woke up a couple of hours later and said that Kiara was missing. Then he said that he left the hotel room and he heard her screaming.
He says Ryan claimed to have followed the sounds of her scream to a laundry room, that he beat on the door, which was locked.
He said that somebody opened the door. And he said that she was sitting there on the floor and holding her private, saying that she was raped. And he said that there was 3 to 4 people in the room.
And what was his explanation for being found asleep next to her dead body?
He couldn't explain to me how he got from the door to laying on the floor next to her, and he wouldn't answer me that question. I asked 3 times.
Some of Kiara's diary entries and photographs document previous abuse, allegedly at the hands of Friesen.
Whoever committed this horrible act on this poor 23-year-old woman had a lot of rage.
Dave Perry, chairman of Investigative Solutions Network, is a former Toronto homicide investigator, an expert on violent crime and murder.
I noticed on all of his fingernails, they were just soaked up in the ridges here.
He doesn't have access to all the evidence in the case, but analyzed Kiara's autopsy and Ryan's police processing photos.
All of her injuries are, I was supportive of somebody that was beaten horribly, and his injuries would match that kind of an attack.
In his statement, Ryan Friesen says, "My desire for justice is not about me. It is and always has been about Kiara." The not guilty verdict is currently being reviewed by a magistrate in Mexico and could be overturned, upheld, or modified. Avery Haynes, CTV News.
And tomorrow, could the cartel have killed Kiara? Avery Haynes goes back to
He's in Dawson Creek. Like when he was found not guilty, he went home to Dawson Creek. He's there now. So we'll quickly watch the this one here. This is just from the other day, when his not guilty verdict was overturned. So we'll watch this one quick, and then we're going to look at some extradition laws and see what Google has to say about that.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. And we begin with breaking news tonight in the case of a Dawson Creek woman murdered in Mexico. Kiara Agnew's boyfriend is now guilty in connection to the 23-year-old's death. After a review of the case by a Mexican magistrate, Ryan Friesen's not guilty ruling has been overturned. Kiara was beaten to death at a 5-star resort in Playa del Carmen nearly 3 years ago. Friesen was charged in her killing but was found not guilty by a Mexican judge. Ryan was found asleep beside her body in a resort laundry room with swollen fists, bruises, and covered in blood. Global Affairs Canada has reached out to Kiara's family, telling them that Friesen is now considered guilty. When asked about Kiara's murder, the state deputy prosecutor responded that she believed it was established beyond a reasonable doubt that the crime was committed by Ryan. With Friesen now considered convicted, his lawyer has filed an appeal. It's not clear if Friesen will remain in Dawson Creek while the appeal process continues. And the full W5 documentary, If I'm Ever Found Dead, airs Saturday at 8 p.m. local time on
Not guilty overturned, right? So he went through a trial in Mexico, and it was a judge-only trial, and the judge found him not guilty. Okay, the magistrate in Mexico has the authority to review and decide to overturn or uphold or change a judge's verdict. This magistrate just the other day declared him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt based on the evidence presented at trial. They can do that in Mexico. That's what's mind-blowing to me. Not guilty, overturned. Why was it changed? Well, because there was more than enough evidence, I think, to show he was guilty. It was just the judge's interpretation of what he was seeing. I don't even know how to explain it because there was foreign DNA found under her fingernails, but his DNA was under her fingernails too. He had injuries. He had so many injuries to his hands, to his leg, to his foot. He was covered in blood, in her blood. Um, and when she was found, he was passed out beside her in the laundry room. He said that the laundry room door was locked. He had to bang on it and somebody opened the door. And when he went in there was a number of men standing in there. But the cleaner, the resort janitor, said that the door didn't have a lock. And the police had made a statement when detaining Ryan that he was clearly intoxicated. So, I mean, there was a lot, and there was a lot of DNA, there was a lot of evidence, but the judge, um, you know, found him not guilty. He didn't appeal. The magistrate decided to, and I think it was because of Canadian outrage and a lot to do with this here documentary because this man, I can't remember what her name is. She's a really great investigative journalist, but she actually went to Mexico. Okay, look, right now, I'm going to find a kids' YouTube videos. That means my grandkids are on my YouTube account in Lethbridge. If I am ever found dead. We don't want to play it, we just want to link it. This is the whole thing. Mute. And I'm going to link it here in the chat so that you guys can go and watch the whole thing because it's really good, really good. Um, and from my understanding, it also talks about this in the documentary, but the maximum sentence for him, I think, is 50 years. And I don't know how their parole system works there. So, yeah, right there in cartel country, I don't think he'll last long because he blamed the cartel for it. That's crazy. It's crazy. He pleaded not guilty. He's not. Are you guys talking about wedding? Because I'm not up to date on that. So he will be sent back to, let's have a look. Um, um, where is it? That's not it. I have it somewhere, but I don't want to, extradition laws, Canada. We're just going to look at the AI overview. Um, Extradition between Canada and Mexico is governed by a bilateral treaty. I'm not going to read that. Requiring the offense to be criminal in both countries and punishable by over 1 year in prison. The process involves formal requests between federal authorities, with the Attorney General of Canada handling requests from Mexico. Key aspects of Canada-Mexico extradition. Dual criminality. The alleged act must be a crime in both countries, so check. Minimum sentence. The offense must be punishable by more than 1 year of imprisonment. Double check. treaty requirements. The treaty ensures the cooperation for individuals accused of or convicted of crimes. Hmm. Does that mean, well, that would probably just mean that Ryan is required by law to cooperate with extradition. Confidentiality. Information regarding specific cases is generally kept confidential by the Department of Justice Canada until an arrest occurs. I wonder how it would work in this case because he's already been found not guilty and it was an overturned verdict. Transfer of offenders. A treaty exists allowing Canadians convicted in Mexico to serve their sentence in a Canadian prison, subject to consent from both governments. I think that that is highly likely. Do you think? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And remember, guilty until proven innocent there. She told someone about his abuse. Yeah, I mean, at the minimum her sister knew. She might not have known the extent, but she absolutely knew. Something sounds fishy. It doesn't. It's just the Mexican law. It's their justice system. They were in a relationship. Yes. There's other people's DNA all over everything you touch in a resort, so it'd be easy to see how she could get a stranger's DNA under her fingernails. Yeah. She just didn't wash her hands. Good enough. Yeah. Yeah. Some people's groups' names should never come out of your mouth unless you're prepared to suffer the consequences. Yeah. Cartel, Hells Angels, absolutely. You're 100% correct. Here's the link to the W5 documentary. Very informative, very well done. She actually checks into the room that they stayed at. Heads up. They all pretend are not guilty until they get proof, hard proof. Is that what that is? Remember, he was found not guilty. He wasn't pretending to be not guilty. Well, I mean, he pled not guilty, obviously, but he was found not guilty by a judge in Mexico. The magistrate in Mexico overturned that not guilty verdict and found him guilty. 50 years is more than he would get in Canada, right? So I think what'll probably end up happening is he would have to, the Mexican authorities would have to agree to a Canadian life sentence, right? Send him back. That's literally, I don't disagree with you, but I think in the eyes of the governor general, that would be a death sentence because he accused the cartel of doing it. So I don't disagree with you, but that in and of itself could prevent extradition. It would be in his best interest to serve time in Canada. Mexican law is so wrong. The guilty until proven innocent part is, but I don't hate the idea of a magistrate being able to review the evidence and overturn a verdict if it's unjust. You know, because he watched the documentary because the judge, his finding was based on his belief that her injuries couldn't have been caused by one person. And that's not accurate. Like I said, maybe they're so polluted with violent crime there being committed by a specific group of people and how they do things. But the guy that she talked to from the cartel was saying that if we wanted to send a message, because the motive that Ryan's Mexican lawyer came up with was because the resort hadn't paid their tax, their payment to the cartel. So it was sending a message. And the cartel guy that we talked said that if the cartel is sending a message, it's very public, very daylight. It's a message. It's not murdering a tourist, a young girl in a laundry room in the middle of the night. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, I think that if an appeal in this country or in the United States could happen based on another judge or a magistrate or something um, determining that the evidence supports a different verdict. I'm not saying they should be able to overturn a not guilty and say, no, I've decided you're guilty, but I think that should be able to bring up a new trial, at least. Do you know what I'm saying? I think. Just the extent of the injury, Sarah. Like literally go watch the documentary. Okay, so this ad will end in 13 seconds, and then there's a short little news story that we'll watch. Mm, I need to mute myself just a minute.
See the world a little differently. I know you guys aren't sold on my theory. Hopefully, this should clear things up.
Is this what the inside of your mind looks like?
Not even close.
High potential. Stream now.
We just got situated in our room.
Just hours after this video, Kiara Agnew would be found dead in this resort laundry room. Her boyfriend, Ryan Friesen, with swollen fists, blood embedded in his fingernails, bruised legs, and bloody feet, was fast asleep beside her brutalized body. A judge-only trial in Mexico resulted in a controversial not guilty verdict in 2024. But late today, the verdict was overturned.
Now we can say Ryan Friesen murdered Kiara Agnew. We can say that. And that is such a powerful statement. And I'm so proud to be able to say it.
Kiara's Aunt Tanya, sister, father, and stepmother have fought tirelessly for justice for Kiara.
Justice for Kiara!
Protests, letter writing campaigns, vigils.
My goal is that the monster who murdered my daughter doesn't have a chance to murder anybody else's.
Kiara's own diary is haunting evidence of past violence in the relationship. In one entry, she writes about being beaten by a drunken Friesen who fell asleep and didn't remember it in the morning. In Playa del Carmen, our investigation involved retracing Kiara's final hours, speaking to the first people at the murder scene. Okay. And showing up at a weekly news conference involving state police, the military, and the deputy prosecutor.
Continuamos con Avery Ains.
This is 23-year-old Kiara Agnew. Canadians would like to know today what is being done to bring justice to Kiara Agnew.
Tenemos la seguridad.
This was about 2 months ago when State Prosecutor Aroshi Lugo Arana revealed for the first time publicly that an independent magistrate has been reviewing the case and the verdict since 2024. After the news conference, Mexican reporters pepper me with questions about the case. This is a crime that occurred in Mexico, and it was Mexico's responsibility to bring justice. And today, that justice was served. Ryan Friesen is now a convicted murderer in Mexico, guilty of femicide.
I just feel Kiara can rest at peace now.
In Canada, though, Friesen from Dawson Creek, British Columbia, is still a free man.
Right now, he's a convicted femicide murderer. So why is he not in jail? I mean,
And if something happens to
Okay,
a
Sam.
Canadian citizen here while he is free in Canada, that is very concerning.
W5 sources in Mexico say unless his appeal is successful, Ryan Friesen will be extradited to Mexico to face up to 50 years in a Mexican jail. Kiara's sister Tiana says there are still so many unanswered questions.
I just want to know what happened that night. I just want justice for Kiara.
Avery Haynes, CTV News.
So how was Ryan?
Such a sad, sad story. Double jeopardy. This wouldn't be double jeopardy because he's not being tried a second time. He wasn't being charged a second time. Simply found guilty. His verdict, his not guilty verdict was overturned. That's the mind-blowing part. I agree it seems he's guilty, but I do not agree with guilty till innocent or a judge can overturn another judge. I think it's, oh man, it's such a, maybe it's a touchy subject, but I don't have a problem with a judge questioning another judge's verdict. I don't agree with just being able to overturn something and without having a new trial, but I think that that is, I think that it, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I don't know. I think that judges should be made to explain their verdicts, especially something like this when there was more than enough evidence to show guilt, right? And beyond a reasonable doubt to any Canadian or American standard. So I don't know that I have a problem with it. Maybe maybe I'm jaded. Maybe I'm just sick and tired of our justice system being a joke here. I don't think multiple suspects could determine with any degree of certainty without hard evidence like a video of the crime, and there were no cameras. Yeah. Mm. She fought for her life. Look at all the blood on him. And then outside of the hotel room or outside of the laundry room, there was blood on the wall where they suspect he hit her head. And then her shoe was found nearby, and there was blood all over the floor and smears. And she did fight for her life. And the thing is, I didn't hear that she was stabbed. I didn't hear about anything like that. This was all brutal force injuries. What stood out was all the blood all over the floor outside the laundry room, and his hands and legs were full of blood and swelled up. Even if there was more than one person, he definitely was part. Absolutely, but I don't believe there was more than one person. I feel like you maybe don't understand what it is prevents being retried. Right. Yeah, he's not being retried. He's not being recharged. He was just simply found guilty. So he is in Canada right now. Correct. He's in Dawson Creek right now, which is, well, from Fox Creek is an hour and a half away from Fox Creek. So probably like 4.5 hours from here. Hmm. That is what appeals courts literally do, right? So taking the entire appeal process away and giving it to their fellow judges like a peer review almost. And if like the Supreme Court, right? If more than like if the majority of judges agree with a finding, then it stands. But if the majority disagree and they have solid grounds to disagree, then it should trigger a new trial. It just seems like a more expeditious way to solve some of these long drawn out appeals. I don't know. That's why his hands are swollen. Yeah. She must have been terrified. Absolutely. Poor woman. Look at her. She's a child. She's a baby. She's 23 years old. If the first judge was wrong, then another judge should be able to change it with the proper evidence. Right. But to me, and just my opinion, I think it should just trigger a new trial, you know, with a different judge or a judge overseer of some kind. They need to get new RCMP at Dawson Creek with all the missing people there. It's a problem. There is another Fifth Estate episode that talks about the missing and murdered from Dawson Creek, which is not a very big place. It's a problem. If he was found not guilty, he can't be tried with the same charges again. Other charges could be filed. But he's not being charged or tried. He was just. Do you guys understand what's happened here? He was found not guilty. And one person, magistrate, decided that there was enough evidence to support a guilty verdict. She overturned the not guilty. So he's not even being retried, recharged, nothing. He's guilty. He is now guilty of femicide. And they'll start extradition immediately. And that extradition could end in him serving a sentence in Canada, which isn't as strict. So I don't know how that works. If the punishment in Mexico is 50 years, but they decide to allow him for his own personal safety to serve his sentence in Canada, does the Mexican sentence come to Canada because it's 50 years? It's double what he would do in Canada before parole. I don't know. All the things in her diary was exactly what the ex-girlfriend said happened to them. Really. I don't think Canada will take him back. He's in Canada. I understand. I'm happy it was overturned. He belongs in jail, so he can't do this again. Obviously, a very violent individual. At the very least, when he's drinking, that's his claim. And that was her claim too, from my understanding. That's what they would do in Canada, have a new trial, right? Yep, yep. But normally people they can't appeal a not guilty verdict. Can they? I don't think so. I don't think the Crown can appeal a loss. I don't know. But after being sent back to Mexico, if he goes back to Mexico into a Mexican prison after blaming the cartel, I don't think he'll make it back. What I find odd as well is the fact that he said she had her hand on her privates. In my opinion, a woman would be more apt to have their head in their hands, sobbing, whereas a man, yeah, yep, the Crown can. Never seen it. Maybe I have. Sounds odd. He is appealing the decision. Does that mean extradition will be delayed? Why is he going through the appeal process? And how would he appeal? And is Mexican lawyer appealing it in Mexico, or is he appealing with his Canadian? It's wild. It's so weird. I agree he has enough to show guilt, but I am not fully on the judge can just change the verdict without a new trial. I get what you mean, and I'm on board, but I don't have a problem with a magistrate being able to call a judge's verdict into question. At that point, I think it should trigger a new trial instead of the appeals and quick and easy. There's no double jeopardy up there. However, the Crown can keep appealing and retrying as much as they want. He should get the same amount of time because he won't get that much time here. Right. Like 25 years is the max. And I venture to guess people don't get maximum sentences here unless you're a serial killer. I don't either. If you all want to read about a case that will infuriate you, look up the Moody murders in Belafonte, Ohio. Totally crazy. Okay. I could see myself having my hands there, trying to ward off an attack. I can't think of many other reasons. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Just a couple more little things that we can look at when it comes to Mexico. This one. I want it all the way up. So Mexico's criminal law operates under an accusatorial, oral, and adversarial system, which replaced the traditional inquisitorial model to promote transparency and human rights, such as the presumption of innocence. The system is divided into federal and state jurisdictions, featuring oral trials, public hearings, and a focus on evidence-based proceedings rather than written dossiers. It is an adversarial system similar to the US and Canada, involving investigation, intermediate review, oral trial, and appeals. But that's not the way it is. Federal offenses, including drug trafficking, organized crime, and money laundering. State offenses include crimes like theft or homicide. The public ministry acts as the prosecutor, while private defense counsel is mandatory. Pretrial detention authorities have up to 96 hours, including a 72-hour judicial window, to charge a suspect or release them. Preventative prison is possible for serious crimes. Accused persons have the right to an interpreter, notification of consular officials for foreigners, and the right to remain silent. Penalties: prison sentences range from 3 days to 60 years. Important considerations: rights of the accused. Recent reforms have introduced the presumption of innocence to aim to curb the use of coercion and torture in investigations. Bail is not as common as in other jurisdictions, but must be requested through a qualified Mexican attorney. Evidence: the new system places high importance on direct evidence presented by both parties in a public court. Foreigners arrested in Mexico are advised to contact their consular services immediately, as they cannot override local laws but can provide assistance in securing legal representation. So that's what the documentary says. I want to say in like 2016, Mexico transitioned from guilty until innocent to innocent until proven guilty. And the defense attorney, I want to, or was she a prosecutor? Can't remember, but the attorney that W5 talked to said that it's baby steps. You know, they're still very much in transition. She was fully dressed, Detective Tam. 25 years and get out of on parole in 10. Sick. There is no justice in that. Yeah. Yeah. So to me, it's absolutely nutso. So here's the Mexican reform, the justice system reform. They're tracking the improvement. I don't know that we need to go through that. It's just very interesting that they're taking the initiative, and this happened in the meantime. There was another case in Mexico, in Playa del Carmen, where a, a, a man killed his girlfriend, same kind of idea, on a different resort, and he's actually still awaiting trial. And I think that one happened 2 years before. They mention it in the documentary. Why Canadians should understand Mexico's federal criminal justice system. Again, it's interesting to me only because of this particular case, but um, I'm I'm a little bit verklempt. It's one of those cases that was just like, whoa. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this one. If he's extradited, if he is made to serve his sentence in Canada, or if, however, he's appealing this decision. Like, I'm curious, does it go through the Canadian appeals? I don't think so. It'd go through the Mexican. But is he going to be allowed to stay in Canada while that happens? Because I think his safety would seriously be at risk. Do you know what I'm saying? I really do. So what do you think of that? I don't know if there's like a whole other than updates about, if he's extradited or if we get an update or something. That's kind of the follow-up that we'll do. I'd really like it if you guys would go and watch the entire documentary. This is great. Very interesting. Um, so other than that, what do you guys think about going through some of the Janie tapes? Maybe not today, but that's kind of where I want to go next with Jack and Lily's case. I don't think that there's a value in continuing to go through Durwood stuff unless we start refreshing our memory to the stuff that Janie had to say about her time talking with Durwood, if that makes sense. And some of the other things that she said. I doubt she was raped then if she was fully dressed, yeah. He might not be safe in Canada also. Yeah. You can't go around accusing those types of groups without expecting some kind of backlash. Psh, seriously. It's bizarre. Tired of hearing Durwood? I am too. I absolutely am. But, you know, I don't want to dig into any of the drama. I think it's important that we still talk about Jack and Lily. So if you guys have, more useful uses of our time when it comes to the Jack and Lily case, I'm all ears, and I'm not being sarcastic or anything, but when you have no updates, we need I want to keep it relevant, but I also want to keep it so that you guys are interested in it. You know, it's not it's not easy to not get sucked up by all the drama and just the rabbit holes that are out there. You're like, yeah, we could talk about why is I'm sorry, I'm distracted. My screen is literally frozen over here. I'm just trying to bring up a Jack and Lily page. It's not letting me. I don't know why. Um, it's never happened before. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to brainstorm what kinds of things we want to talk about when it comes to Jack and Lily, because I think we still need to talk about them. So, um, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen because what I'm doing over there right now is I'm on my YouTube page. Here's the voice clips. I don't even know how many times I've listened to it, like for real. So we've got the Daniel interviews, Janie tapes, the RCMP, the Teams meeting, and then the live streams. So it's always nice to hear their happy little selves in their pictures. I can create like a little slideshow of all the pictures that I have of Jack and Lily. Obviously, stuff. Anytime that I get a new picture, the first thing I do is I share it with you guys. In one way or another, it's always shared. But I can definitely put together a little, um, you know, slideshow of Jack and Lily pictures, coverage that we look at. 2 years for Sebastian. Yeah. Yeah, I can do it, but it would be kind of tripping my way through it. I did cover it with Sunny and Aspen when it first happened, but then I had a lot of other stuff going on. So I think that we could start looking at some of the updates in Sebastian Rogers' case, but I wouldn't be able to answer some of the more pointed questions about that case just because I was paying attention but not that close to remember it. See legal if that makes sense. Um I mean that's another thing too, right? Like you can do the Google the Google Maps and start looking at places to search. I just he is not close to Pictou. But there are missing people all over the country, Dodie. On another channel, it was said there aren't too many recent photos of Jack. Lily has some. Could it be the black eyes? Maybe. It's not unfair to assume that, honestly. It's really not. There's not much new in Sebastian's case. I've seen a couple of thumbnails saying certain things, and I never click on them because they smell like clickbait. And I figured if there was an actual update, mainstream would catch it. So I didn't know. Just like the Summer Wells, I saw clickbait titles everywhere and I never clicked on any of it until I saw the uh I think it was the Tennessee News or whatever, they had something on it. And so I started paying attention to some of those clickbaity smelling titles. I really like when we touch on the kids but discuss other cases too. Yeah. And I mean, so for today, um, maybe we should, I don't know. I don't really feel like watching Daniel either. That's terrible. I shouldn't say things like that. It's important. It's important to re-listen. Let's re-listen to Daniel's interviews, okay? And then from there, we're going to decide on our path forward, what we want to do. Um, Bonnie, we have absolutely no updates on Darius, okay? But we are diligently working on trying to get family up to, I don't want to say start an awareness campaign, but to start an awareness campaign because although you guys know about it and they're good at spreading their word on the Darius McDougal Facebook page, it's not as widespread as I feel like YouTube could do. So we want to get their family up here. And we are talking to a few different family members. It's just getting their schedules in line with what could work for a YouTube live stream. So we are working on that. Darius is still missing, and there's no information as of yet. But I can while this Daniel interview montage is playing, I can look for maybe the Darius Facebook page and just kind of go through it with you guys really quick. Hmm. Yeah. And the amount, well, you can't say like the amount, but there are still kids that are missing. Dylan Eller, there are others, Darius McDougal, Jack and Lily. They're out there somewhere. And that's the part that just gets me because we're not just looking for news updates, we're looking for kids. And I can never understand how people, I can see how there's nothing new to talk about, but I need a starting place with Darius. Okay, because there were, like, we went over on my live stream when we first covered him. You you watch one news story about him and then watch another one, and they're conflicting information. That's why it's so important for me to have family talk to me and tell me the right version of the story. We need a good starting point to start spreading the proper information. Because what if I choose wrong and I go on the fact that he was with 4 other kids and, they didn't realize till like 20 minutes? What if that is completely wrong? I don't want to spread that information. I don't disagree with you, Ron. uh, After looking at it, I was very suspicious when I first started looking at it. Um, Especially when I pulled up the map and we looked at that street and the grandma story and stuff, which I don't believe. I think she's seriously misjudging the time that she turned her back. However, where that brook is and how quickly it was moving at that time, the ground search and rescue man, he, I don't know why, but I felt like he was very credible. It- and that brook flows straight into the Bay of Fundy. I think that you're probably right. You know? I think so. Even though dad's behavior is a little off the wall, still to this day. Still to this day. So, hour and 31. Okay, so I hate to do this to you guys, but we haven't heard from Daniel for quite some time. So I'm going to play the Daniel Martel interviews, and then we'll do a little bit of talking afterwards, and then we're going to probably end it for today, but then we're going to start fresh, maybe with the Janie clips. Um, And hopefully we get Darius's family on here. But let's do this for now. Okay. Okay. Is it shared? It is. I gotta mute myself. I love how I'm constantly narrating to you guys what I have to do next. Okay, I have to mute myself. Compilation of Daniel Martel's media interviews. I think there are more, but I'm not sure. Email me if you do have more. And in the meantime, I am not accusing anyone of anything here. This is just putting everything all in one spot.
Noticed that the children were gone. Immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there. And as soon as I noticed they weren't there, I immediately jumped right in the vehicle and surveyed all the area, every dirt road, every culvert I could find. As soon as I seen they were missing, I jumped right in the vehicle and I did every dirt road and searched every culvert. The very first day I wasn't around very much because I was just searching. I was running through the woods, screaming their name till my throat hurt. Jack just absolutely loves bugs, dinosaurs, and anything like that. But Lily loves girly things, but she also loves doing everything with Jack, bugs. They're like best friends, not just brother and sister. And Jack just absolutely loves bugs, dinosaurs, anything like that. But Lily loves girly things, but she also loves doing everything with Jack, bugs. They're like best friends, not just brother and sister. They took their boots. That's pink boots for Lily, blue boots for Jack, with dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack with white, it was white, strawberries on it. I imagine now if they're in the woods that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't see them keeping a pull-up one for that long after it got soaked from the very first day. We only found the 2 boot tracks outside of the house.
Whereabouts?
Right beside the house, probably 10 feet away from the backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
Nothing new. The helicopters are still in the air. And they had dogs. They took dogs today. And as of last night, they had 8 more drones going on. And then Fred. I urge the public to come out as if you have anything, come out as fast as possible and get it to any detachment or any police service that you have available to get to talk to. We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day, we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that, screaming as loud as I can. Just until my throat hurt, running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in military outfit said I could go back into the woods. I hate being wet and cold, so they immediately would have came right back into the house. The only two prints are right beside the house facing the road, and then that's it. Just waiting and waiting and waiting for him to come home. Hardly any evidence at all since the first day. It's mind-boggling that nothing else was found. The last of RCMP in the area that I've seen, they were at Lansdowne Lake, and they told me that they scoured the lake, divers, and sonared the lake, and there's no evidence at all. If they were in this area, would have found them. My family's still searching.
You said they're flying in someone to do a polygraph test. Is that on you?
That's not just on me, but on everyone. That's what I asked for. I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations and everything else. No idea. I had no idea. I'm still searching every day. I'm waiting for information. I have to let them do a lot of their stuff with the aircrafts and everything else, and dogs and searchers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be coordinated, and I can't just go running through the woods. I want to, but I just can't right now because the search is just so far out. Holding out hope. I don't know why they didn't find anything from Jack's pull-up to her backpack or any of her belongings at all. They just haven't found anything.
Just want to break in here real quick. And what do you guys? Is this ringing any bells for you guys? How did you guys think? What did you guys think of his emotion in some of these clips? Did you think it was genuine, or did you think? I felt like it was genuine. I do. Mm. Carrying their backpacks, but no mention what Jack's backpack looks like. Yeah, past tense. Good catch. I don't think that we've caught that before. Hey, Belinda. So, Shar, this one pisses me off a bit because it is dishonesty. It made to appear like he is reading a script when in fact it is the same interview from two different TV cameras stations. Oh, really? I never thought he was reading from a script. I did and still do think that his emotions were real. But there's many things that can bring out emotion in people. Do you guys remember how you felt at the time that we first saw these? Not all together like this, but as they were coming out, did it hit your heart that the stepdad was emotional? Or were you always sketchy about him? Carrying is odd. You wear a backpack, you might carry another person's backpack. How many kids wouldn't wear theirs? Matt is Catter, thanks for being here. Daniel said they left with all their belongings on. In the interview, he describes only Lily as having a backpack, but states carrying their backpacks. Searching where every day. He admitted he never went to where the prints were on the pipeline. It was genuine. Yeah. Yeah. Not a prayer. I feel it is genuine also. I do. But where does the emotion come from? He is a liar. His crying is fake when he covers his eyes but looks at the reporter. That's a sign of a bullshitter. Excuse my language. It's a way to look at it, Marie. It is. And I've always, I don't know, I've always felt that it was genuine emotion, but then with the inconsistencies and stuff, I remember starting to think more so about where the emotion is coming from. Is it emotion that he's worried about the kids and he feels like he's not doing enough to find them? Is it guilt for not getting up? Is it guilt for something else? Like where is the emotion coming from, and where the emotion comes in is very interesting to me. I felt his emotion was genuine. Where did it go? At times, other times I laughed at him. When did you laugh at him? Was it was it after the inconsistencies you started looking at him like side-eyeing him? I get different feelings from him at different times. Me too. I believe he is for real. Uh, so that's like in an hour and 45, correct, AJ? I remember thinking that he might be autistic, to be honest. Well, I don't know if you've ever spoken to Daniel, but I have, and he certainly doesn't think of himself as autistic on any kind of spectrum other than maybe he part of Mensa. And I'm not being rude or anything. He truly does believe that he is smarter than the average bear. Fake Gren. I definitely thought at the time it was real, but everything that's happened since makes you go back and wonder if he's pulled the wool. I think he's checking the interviewer's reaction right there. Does kind of look like it. Not gonna lie. At the time, first hearing, I thought it was genuine. Yes, I remember I was sketched by him at all. I felt bad for him, but I was always got sketchy vibes off Malaya. Yeah. Not sure. When I went down there years ago, too much crazy crap that went on, so I'm not sure. I think, in my opinion, it's just the way he words things. That very, very true. But with all the things that he words strangely, and then he listens back and he gets feedback and attacked, fair. But then invited to clarify, he refused to clarify. He just added more sketchy shit. That was a red flag for me. I'm just going to listen. I'd rather not become ignorant and attached. As long as you do it respectfully, your opinions, are welcome here. I know how people feel about Daniel. And I'm not a fool. I see the same things that everybody else seems, but I question everything. And that even too, like what is inducing the emotion that I'm clearly seeing. Is it planned? Is it staged? I don't think so. But that doesn't mean that, I don't know. I think he did love the kids. When I first saw his first interview, I knew he was a drug user because his teeth are starting to rot, just like mine did. I think he's guilty from the start. I felt it was genuine in the beginning and now both, but you are right. It's from the kid. Is it from the kids or like, we don't know. I honestly expected search and rescue to find a muddy backpack and sold pull up. So did he. And that's very interesting that, I don't know, it seemed like he was like when he was pointing out the things that they hadn't found yet, it was like he expected them to find Lily's backpack or Jack's pull up. I don't know. He was already making excuses for not searching. And that's always been a question to me because he says at certain times he wasn't allowed to go back in the woods, but Janie had said that she was in the woods and barely came back to the trailer. So I'm I'm confused about that Friday, Saturday timeline with the searching. At what point weren't they allowed in the woods? Because you would think, you would hope that the RCMP, that the search and rescue shut it down for just any. And I do know somebody who was part of the initial search, like just a citizen who went to help search for the kids. He said that they were only, I want to say like 45 minutes into their search. They were called back. They weren't allowed to go into the woods until, they were given further instructions. So they ended up just kind of carrying on. Like they went home. But they were at some point on Friday pulled back from going into the woods. But I thought Janie said that she was in the woods all day. The only time she went into the trailer was to tell Malaya that they were going back searching. So that's odd. You can always tell when look back up to the interview for approval or to see if they're buying his BS. I will bust that naughty stool in a minute. 45 minutes-ish? Okay, well, we won't. Okay, I'm gonna continue then because I don't wanna feed into Melissa's lifetime. Okay, let's continue.
I've done everything. I've given them all my information. I'm here to find the kids. Well, I know they can't go forever. I mean, there's search and rescue workers searchers that have already been injured. They've spent so much resources. I mean, resources doesn't matter at this point, but I mean, everybody's tired. There's some people that I don't think they even went home. I'm absolutely exhausted at this point after going through 6 days of virtual hell. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm just fighting for Lily and Jack. It breaks my heart. Exhaustion at this point. I mean, the sadness just turns to anger because there's no answers.
Just really quickly, when a man cries, he wants to hide that emotion. And he turns away from the camera every time. And I think that, to me, is a genuine reaction for a man. No shade to men and no shade to women. But usually when a woman cries, it's, hands to the face, and maybe turn into somebody close to them. But a man will turn away from sight, usually. And that's what Daniel does. So I think, I don't know, to me, it's genuine. All right. Sorry to interrupt. Let's continue.
I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get answers. Bring cadaver dogs. They search for anything they can find. I want as much as they can do. Me and my family still go out sometimes and search, but everything's been searched that we can really dive into at this time. They have over 12,000 man hours searching the woods, and they're planning on doing more, which I'm really grateful for. Every day when I wake up, it's just feels like I'm reliving a nightmare of May 2nd. But the main feelings of from sadness have just turned to anger because there's no evidence as of after 1 month, and it's really taken a toll. I know that they're working hard and they're using every resource they have, and that makes me hopeful because that's all we have at this point is just hope. I know the truth. I didn't kill Lily and Jack.
It's been 6 weeks now since you've seen Lily and Jack. I just want to ask, how are you holding up?
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanted to know like what happened. It's been from sadness to anger at this point. And I know the RCMP and major crimes are working around the clock trying to piece everything together. And I'm grateful for that. But it always leaves the question, 6 weeks has gone by. And we know at this point they're not in the woods. And where are they?
Did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you?
Of course, the stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
You felt that from the beginning,
Yeah.
but you don't feel that now.
No, I don't feel that at all. I asked for the lie detector exam, the polygraph exam. I gave them my phone. I told them I, do drug tests because there's a lot of rumors online about a drug party. I know the person that said those rumors, and it was just to take the heat off themselves.
Was there any kind of party?
No.
Was there any kind of gathering that someone
No.
might have thought was a party?
No.
There were no people at the house?
No. Not the night before.
Okay, you mentioned you offered to take a polygraph test.
Yeah.
Did the RCMP take you up on that?
Yes, it did.
And how did that unfold?
That unfolded in my favor. They obviously know I wasn't lying about anything.
So they said, "Yeah, great, thank you. Come in
Yeah.
for a polygraph test."
Yeah, it took a little while to set up, and
When did you do that test?
I don't know the exact date, but that would be at least 3 weeks ago, probably.
So roughly 3 weeks after the disappearance.
Yeah.
And I think most Canadians wouldn't have any idea what's involved with that. Can you describe the process? You go in and just tell us right from the start.
We go in, sit down in a big comfy chair, and they have multiple sensory pads. You have them underneath your forearms, you have them underneath your butt, and you have them underneath your feet with your shoes off. You have a sweat gland on one finger. You have a measuring instrument for blood flow that goes in and out of your hand. And you have a cuff on your arm for blood pressure to measure your pulse.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lily and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What went through your mind when someone's asking you that question so point blank like that?
Your mind has a massive release of chemicals, I guess you would call them. Just, it's like your stress levels just astronomically through the roof, and your body doesn't know what to do because it's not every day the way you're hooked up to machines in an interrogation room where someone asks you questions like that.
What other kinds of questions did they ask you?
All the questions pertain to the death of Lily and Jack. Are you accessory to the murder of Lily and Jack? They were all.
So all of the questions assumed that the children are no longer alive.
Yeah.
There were no questions at all about, did you take them somewhere? Could
No.
they be somewhere?
No.
The police have done a number of polygraph tests. They've done 53 formal interviews. Do you know who these people are?
Yeah.
That's a lot of interviews.
It is a lot of interviews. A lot of them are my family, people who live in the area. And those interviews, typically my interview was 4 hours. And a lot of the interviews from my family were 1, 2 hours. So there's a lot of time taken up, and they ask detailed questions.
Do you know who else actually took a polygraph test?
I do, but I'm not going to say anything that's going to impede the investigation.
Okay. When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job. You passed.
And how did that feel?
Good.
And did you feel that there was any further suspicion on you after that point, or was that sort of conclusive?
No, that was really when I seen the turning point for it's starting to taper off with investigators.
Do you know if Malaya has taken one?
I don't know if I can say it, but I will anyway. Yes, she did take one.
Okay, she took one. Do you know the result?
No. RCMP weren't allowed to tell me I asked.
You said you feel like everyone in the world wants to know what happened to Lily and Jack.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think this is getting so much attention?
Well, just the mysterious and nature of everything and how strange everything is. The RCMP, they have to keep a tight lip on everything, but there's a lot more that meets the eye with the case.
Is there something that you think the public doesn't know that you can share that you want the public to know?
That's a hard one because I don't want to impede the investigation in any way. It is still a missing persons investigation. It hasn't pivoted to any type of criminal investigation. But The kids were seen the day before. I know a lot of people didn't know that. I still see a lot of stuff online that the kids could have been missing for days. They were out of school for days, and they were seen in the Glasgow area on camera the day before this appearance in the afternoon.
Where was that?
I don't know if I can say that, but it was near the Highland Square Mall.
Was it with you?
It was with me, Malaya, and Meadow, and Lily and Jack were there too.
And are the police aware of that?
The police were aware of that since.
Do they have that video?
Yes, they do. I also talked to my coworker in the parking lot as well, and he verified that with investigators as well. So for all the speculation, they were gone days ahead of time, or they were seen the afternoon on camera before the disappearance.
Why do you think the police are asking for video dating back, days before that?
Well, the reason for that is they want to see the traffic of the vehicles on the roads in the area, right? Maybe vehicles that were traveling that area a lot over the last few days prior to hand, or vehicles that weren't seen in the area, or vehicles that were seen in the area, like local people that are, you know what I mean, making frequent trips past the house, or which it's all considered evidence. I mean, more pictures and videos is the better.
They say they have hundreds of hours of video.
Mhm.
Do you know if they found anything on those videos?
I think it was up to 2 weeks ago, they had footage that they examined for evidence that was 8 kilometers diameter out from the house. So that was after a month. That's how long it took to get footage and review it 8 kilometers out. So
What's on the video?
I don't know. I'm only limited by what they tell me.
How often are they in touch with you?
Investigators now, I'd say maybe once every 5 days. And usually I'm the one who calls or messages them.
And how's that changed over the course of the 6 weeks?
Well, from the beginning, it was almost daily, tapering off to where it's only like once every 5 days now.
And how do you feel about that?
It's good. It's good and bad. I mean, I like to talk to them in person about any little small details I come up with, or anything I can try to bring to their attention, which may help the investigation. So I don't get to see them often, so it's always over phone or messaging, and it's hard to really convey what you want to say when you're not in person. But then I also know the eye's not on me. The investigators don't see me as part of the disappearance.
How do you know that?
Well, when you're going from daily to tapering off every 5 days, I mean, I've already gave them everything on my phone. I'm the one who originally said, here, take my phone. We'll go through all my banking information. We'll go through all my stuff on my GPS from Google.
And you were offering all that up, right?
Yeah, I offered everything.
And why were you doing that?
Show them that I want to get the investigation moving. I know I have nothing to do with any of it. A lot of speculation is you killed the kids. We'll just come out and say it straight as it is.
What do you think when you read that?
It's a lot of nonsense, obviously. I know the truth. I didn't kill Lily and Jack. And I just think a lot of people online they're seeking drama. That's the main thing. Everybody's allowed their own opinion, like I said before, but it's hard on the people that were actually there and missing the children. Still haven't got to see any of my kids, including Lily and Jack. And that's been really tough, going from a family of 7, including my other 2 kids that live in Halifax now, going from a family of 7 in the blink of an eye, your family's ripped apart and you're left alone.
So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything.
So what do you make of the fact that they are bringing the cadaver dogs in?
Well, I'm actually pretty happy about that, because it's been about 3 months I've been asking for them. and it's just been delayed, I guess, till now. But I know things take time, and dogs are hard to get.
So what does this say to you? Because I mean, they are dogs searching for human remains.
Well, I know that it's going to be really hard work now that there's so much vegetation in the woods, but I'm pretty happy that they're going to be able to do it. I even hope that they bring more than one dog if they have access to more than one dog.
So what are you happy about? What do you hope this will bring?
I would just like to see maybe the social media speculation theories and accusations, maybe they're not going to stop, but slow down, because at this point they're getting ridiculous.
So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything. I mean, that's probably why they waited this long to do it. It's just to keep the public informed, I guess, that they're hard at work.
Do you think it will rule things out?
Yeah, I think we'll rule a lot of things out. Rule out that the RCMP are, working hard, and there's no human remains on the property.
Is there any piece of you that's preparing for the fact, like, what if they do find something?
No, because I didn't do anything. I know Malaya didn't do anything. I know my mother didn't do anything. Those are 3 people on the property. I mean, after the polygraph exams, they should have known right there. We didn't kill any of the kids, or we didn't kill the kids.
Why do you think that they're not possibly, like, why that they didn't possibly wander into the woods?
Well, with the amount of resources that were used, and I mean, for everything from drones, helicopters, to classified technology, and all the searchers on the ground. I mean, searchers on bicycles. They did everything. I've on the pipeline. They took in ATVs and Argos and side by sides. They used everything they could.
Tell me about what do you make at this point of the investigation of what RCMP have been doing or not doing? What's your stance on all of that?
Well, I would like to go in for another whole round of polygraph exams. I mean, that would be, and maybe bring some new people in that are doing the polygraph exams. But I know they're hard at work. I've filled notebooks with just trying to help them find leads, or give them any kind of small detail, answer as many questions as they can, or, but I'm doing everything I can. I usually try to meet with them 3 times a week, and sometimes they're not around for that, or phone calls or texts, but whatever we can do.
So I guess to bring it back to the cadaver dogs, so you've been asking for it for so long, I guess, you don't have any information on how that will happen?
No, I don't even know where quite they're going to start searching, or where they're going to do. Are they going to expand out onto the properties? The property there is fairly small. It's only 2 acres. So.
Yeah. Will it be the whole 8.5 that they searched previously?
I don't know. That's a lot. That would be quite a few. That'd be a couple of weeks probably on foot doing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at the documents, and some of the other stuff RCMP has said or done, there's 70,000 drone photos that were taken during the search. That's a lot of photos. They had to review and do everything. So they would have found some kind of something there. Or even when they brought in classified technology, they scanned the whole area. They have found a beaver and a coyote. That's all I found.
So why do you think this step is necessary?
Well, it just rules out one and brings the book a little bit closer to being closed. I mean, one chapter at a time.
How have you been doing?
Well, I'm not going to say I'm doing well, but doing better than I was at the start, I guess. It's physically exhausting, mentally exhausting, emotionally exhausting, but every day you wake up and it's a new day. New hope. I'm just going forward.
Tell me about the toll, like what you were just mentioning earlier about social media.
Yeah, social media has been quite a circus, we'll call it. But I can't control them, and they're free to judge. But maybe just use a little bit of this before they start typing, or using AI for pictures.
I mean, we're coming up on, is it coming up to 5 months?
Yeah, in the second. So yeah, it's less than 2 weeks.
Like, did you ever imagine that we'd be here still talking about this?
No. I thought with the amount of resources and amount of different units for RCMP working on it, everything from dive teams to canine units and social, they have dedicated teams just for social media. They have a dedicated guy that just sits there and watches highway cameras. So
What's it been like for you now that we're back to September, school's back, and we're
Yeah.
seeing the school bus go by every day?
yeah, no, it's hard. There's quite a few school buses that go by, and there's a lot of kids in the area I see, and it's sad. It's it's not just sad for Jack and Lily, but it's sad for everybody who knew Jack and Lily. They had friends, they went to school, and it's just they had teachers that seen them every day, and it's just hard on everybody.
I know we ask you this every single time, but why do you keep doing it?
For Jack and Lily, I don't do this for myself because I'm going to see this online later, and people are going to analyze it. Every time I move my hands, every time I open my mouth, every facial expression, they analyze everything right down to a T. I know that.
What would you like the public to know?
I want the public to know if anyone has any information, just please come forward. Call the RCMP, call your local police department, call Crime Stoppers.
Do you still think they're still alive?
Yes, I hope so. I mean, that's all we have is hope.
I don't remember what the last bit of that video is. Pretty sure. Yeah, it was just not just, it was the that leading up to that information, which is the most important information that we can share and put out there. Any tips, any information, even things that you think they uh, probably maybe already know, or, you know, maybe you think is useless information. If you yourself haven't tipped something in, just tip it in. Use the P3 Tips app. That's the best way, in my opinion. Um, uh, yeah, I don't remember anything coming out about the mat officially, about the bath mat or the blanket. Very, I don't even want to call it odd timing, but the fact that Daniel had to go in and give blood for DNA testing, whether it was for criminal involvement or not, they checked the box off. The timing of that was, you know, interesting because we had learned about the blue blanket and such a couple of, well, I guess it was about a month before that, but um, anything else? I'm gonna call it a day. We're going to start on Janie again tomorrow, and yeah, I'm pretty sure there was no official news on the bath mat. My chat has been glitching, so I'm like way up there. Not way up, I guess, but then I'll get like 10 messages at once. So I don't know if you guys are chatting or if you're just, if my chat is lagging, whatever. Um, so that was interesting. Good to revisit. Like I said, I always say. So we will see everybody tomorrow when we talk about Janie and remember everything that she said and maybe possibly try to piece some stuff together. And I thank everybody for being here. Remember to go back and watch W5's If I'm Ever Found Dead, I believe that's what it's called. I put the link in the chat. Wonder if I still have the link. I do. There's the link for that documentary. Go watch it. It's interesting. We're going to be looking for updates. Harley is groaning at me. So thanks for joining, and we will go see Melissa. If you haven't subbed, go sub, go watch Melissa. I'll see you over there tonight. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye.
We're going